New Dad Order, episode 11. Something different here today as I get to do the intro. So you want to know what it really takes to play Division I college sports? I'm pulling back the curtain on the exact 8 things I did to play Division I football in the 90s. We'll also cover 5 critical ways you or your kid can still get recruited today, despite this crazy transfer portal and social media era. No NIL deals, no fancy trainers, just effort, mindset, and grit. And whether you're a dad raising an athlete, a parent navigating modern recruiting, a fan of real talk sports podcasting, you'll want to lean in. We'll cover everything from why grades matter more than you think, how playing multiple sports can change your game, to the one thing you can do today to help your kid get noticed. Hit that like, comment, share this, and subscribe, and stick around. This is the kind of hard-earned advice I wish someone had told me back then. Let's dive in. Welcome to the New Dad Order podcast. My name is Ray. I got my boy Parfait over there.
How's it going, everybody? Ray, how are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Episode 1.
That was a long time ago now.
It was. And I think you asked a why or how I became a D1 athlete. So I played D1 ball. I was a tight end, which was 100 pounds ago, for the University of Pittsburgh. So I wanted to jump in and just talk about 8 things that I believe got me to become a D1 athlete in the 90s.
Good, because I was really curious about this, and I was surprised by your answer to begin with that you couldn't really recall, but obviously some reflection got you to a moment to where you can, and I'm interested. This story right here of the you played, I didn't, I'm pulling up a chair. I'm ready to listen. Hey guys, want to talk to you real quick about a product that is really great for recovery that has just become a very vital part to me as I continue to age, and all these dads out there listening that are going through the same thing that want to make sure that they can keep their energy level up and get that rest that they need. Thirdzy is a product loaded with a bunch of things, which one thing it does not have is melatonin, so you won't be groggy in the morning. Check it out. Promo code NDOZZZ to get you a discount at checkout. You won't be disappointed. It'll help all your recovery to get you ready for the next day.
One of the key pieces, I think, today and forever is effort. I went hard every play during practice and especially at games. I believe this got me noticed. The second thing I have here is being athletic. You got to work out. You got to be agile. You got to have good feet. Right?
All right.
So
all sports.
The thing I did during my time was play a lot of basketball. And when I say my time is after school or on the weekends.
Pickup game with the friends type stuff.
Yes. Or in the front yard. My dad put a goal up on the house and I'd go out and I'd shoot the basketball a lot and just play ball. And I know I'm a football guy, but that just helped.
Yeah, because basketball players are the best athletes.
Correct. And when I was at the gym with my dad, I used to lift legs a lot, leg extensions and leg curls. Having solid legs as a 17 or 18-year-old really helped. So I've seen kids 6'5", slight builds, toned up, that look super athletic.
Right.
But when they ran, it was really blocky.
Robotic.
Really blocky,
no
robotic.
Fluidness.
Yep. And when they would try to juke, it was slow. Not at all what I expected. So being athletic is another key to being a D1 athlete.
Quick twitch muscles, right?
Yes.
That's what coaches say.
Yes. Third thing that I have here is know your job. On offense, understand the play you are running and understand what everyone else is doing so you can adjust on the fly. Defensively, trust your coaches on reads they have picked up during film sessions. Recognize and react to them during the game. So here's a high-level play for a high schooler in the 90s. So in Texas, they love to run counters and traps.
Okay.
The tackle you lined up on would block down and away, forcing you as the outside linebacker to step into the gap. I would recognize a few things that the play might be going the other way, like a sweep or off-tackle dive or bootleg away from me, or a trap coming back towards me. A good outside linebacker would look quickly at the backs, quarterback, and then the opposite guard or tackle, who at that time has stepped back and are running towards them to block them, and see that quarterback turn his back for a second, faking the handoff away, and then handing the ball to another back that took a false step towards that side and is now following the guard or tackle or both. My job in this situation was not to get upfield, but to create a pile up to force the running back to bounce back and go around, giving my teammates time to get to an attack point and stop the play. So all that, what I just said, had to go through my mind in 1 or 2 seconds.
In less than that.
Right? In 1 or 2 seconds. So
You had to adapt. The offense already knew what they were doing.
Right. The offense knew what they were doing. So you had to key off of different aspects of what you saw. The guard doing this. Why did he block down? What's the back doing? You had to surmise what was going to happen quickly. So the way I just talked through it was the way you had to think through it, but sometimes you had to think through it a little quicker than what I said, the way I said it.
Of course, yeah.
So these reads, happen quickly. These types of situations are what college coaches love to see, especially watching film.
Yeah.
So I'd like to step away for a second and talk about a supplement, Thirdzy, that just got into, I would say, a week ago, but I want to turn it over to the professional who knows this stuff better than myself.
So, no professional, but I am a weekend warrior, daily warrior, where I try to get to the gym every single day. Like I said, I'm a 5 a.m.er. I live on sleep deprivation, so to speak. This product right here, Thirdzy, is great. One of the key ingredients is L-theanine. It promotes relaxation, improves focus, enhances sleep quality. It reduces blood pressure. Those are some of the benefits that it has. Recommended dosage is typically 100 to 200 milligrams per day. Well, you know what? You're getting that right amount right in here, and it gets you into a deep sleep quickly. As Ray has discovered, as someone who stays up late playing games, has to make a relatively long drive to work and perform at his job. Got him on this right here because, like I said, I've sworn by it, and it's been great. And these are some of the key elements in this product that will help you get into a deep sleep right away so you can better perform each and every day, regardless if you're working out or just trying to get to the job. Promo code NDOZZZ. We'll have a link below. Click it, get you a discount at checkout. But it is a great product for recovery and to get into a deep sleep to help your body maintain and do the things that we need it to do to hopefully maybe be maybe not a D1 athlete anymore, but maybe get that D1 blood back.
The fourth thing is speed. If you're tall and can run, if you're big and can run, if you're small, you better be fast.
That makes sense.
College coaches like guys who can run a 4.7 or better. I was a 4.8 guy, so God blessed me with an opportunity with a scholarship. So, the fifth thing I have here is confidence. Have an aura about you. They can see it in your actions and in your eyes. Your gameplay, as this goes hand in hand with knowing your job. Discipline is part of this as well. They like kids with a military upbringing, yes sirs, no sirs, and are able to take intense feedback with their eyes wide open and take that feedback and apply it as soon as possible. The sixth thing here I have is play as many sports as possible. Play as many varsity sports as possible. Now, again, this was in the 90s and the 2000s.
Right.
Okay. This goes hand in hand with being athletic. Recruiters like to watch you play other sports, especially if that sport is basketball. And you are a football recruit. I'm sure it's the same for other sports, but this is what I know. Every significant recruiter I knew would show up for a game, and I did not always know they were there until the end of the game, obviously.
Yes.
So if you are in track and you run, they will show up. Plus, if you are fast, they want you to run track in college.
Makes sense.
So that's one of those things that because football's here and in the spring is track, it sort of works out for them because they want you to get faster.
Yeah, no, it's working on a specific skill for a sport that the skill is to be fast.
Yes.
Whenever it comes to track. So,
Yes.
yeah, that you're going to get, a translation of it. So.
Right. There's another thing that we like to use.
Dubby. I'm pretty particular when it comes to some of the supplements, and this is a pre-workout, but I have actually not been using it strictly for a pre-workout because it's not loaded with caffeine. It doesn't give me the big spike in the jitters or anything. So I've actually just mixed it with a little bit of water and sipped on it and kind of taken the replace of some of those other energy drinks throughout the day and use that as just a slight energy drink to just kind of boost throughout the day.
Wow.
And so I found that that's worked. So it has worked for working out as well as a pre-workout. But I have to say that the most effective use of it for me is just kind of getting that little energy drink fill with a lot more natural substances in there than what most energy drinks have.
Wow.
So, but Dubby, check it out. We have a link. And we have a promo code for that as well for you guys.
Just hit the link in the description. It'll take you to the site. Pick what you want.
So we do have a discount for you guys for that as well. The link will take you there. You'll get a new dad order discount after you select the items that you want. And but check it out, Dubby. Like I said, I've used it not as necessarily a pre-workout as much as just kind of a little energy drink throughout the day.
So the seventh thing that I have here is probably the most important one. Have good grades. This goes along with discipline. This is one thing that you don't want to worry about. They want to mold smaller pieces of you into what they need based on your athletic template.
Coachability.
Exactly. And they don't need to worry if you're going to be eligible. Stay in those books. You are a student first and then an athlete.
Back in the day.
Back in the day.
Before the NIL era.
My eighth point is something that you could possibly affect, but it's something that you're going to need help with from your teammates as well.
Okay, I'm interested.
This helps improve visibility. Not really something you can totally affect by yourself, but can help the team do. Get into the playoffs and win. Hope that you have upperclassmen that are good enough to get recruited at your school or school that you play, so that those schools, those college schools, come back, take a look at the talent pool in your city.
Yeah. So yeah, popping up on the radar type thing.
Right.
Yeah.
My biggest example for me is Billy Davis. Went to a different school in El Paso and was recruited by Pitt because he was a fantastic quarterback in high school.
Oh, okay.
He went to my rival high school. So as a junior, when he was a senior, we played them. And, of course, we beat them. We beat them. They saw me during that game, and they were one of the first to send me a postcard during the summer.
So they picked you up on film watching somebody else.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that effort never taking a playoff paid off.
Yes. So that was the summer before my senior year. So just to let you know what kind of talent Billy was, Billy played wide receiver at Pitt. Eventually went to the pros, played for the Cowboys and Ravens, earning a Super Bowl ring from both organizations.
Wow.
Yep. Also, know when an upperclassman has a recruiter coming to make sure you show out that game and for that week of practice, as they will show up and talk to your coaches and also watch practice. So show out for those practices. So these are the 8 things that I believe, and I sort of know also, helped me get into the University of Pittsburgh.
So that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting, too, because as we know, Ray has talked about, he was a tight end, but you were seen on film on the other side of the football.
Yes.
And as well as your rival, who was a quarterback, ended up playing wide receiver.
Yes.
For his profession.
Yes.
And that leads that whole thing of being an athlete is the biggest thing in the world as far as when it comes to playing at the next level, of being able to do multiple things, being able to be coached at a position that you didn't play to learn, but you had to know whenever you went through the whole offensive breakdown, well, then you became a part of that offensive scheme that you were trying to break in your head at the snap of a football whenever you're on the defensive side.
Yeah.
And now you're a part of it. You got to at least know the play.
Right.
So,
right.
But no, Ray, I mean, that's interesting. I said it in the first episode, if you happen to listen to it, and I was curious. And the big thing was that I was curious was at what moment did it click that you had something special that could happen, something special that you could accomplish right here? These are the things that took you into accomplishing that thing. But do you remember that one moment, that click moment?
Yeah, I think it was when I got Pitt's postcard. But the thing was, before I got that postcard, I got a postcard from Army, from
Yes,
from
you
West
said
Point.
that West Point was
West Point was the first ones to send me a card, and I was like, oh, it's just Army. My father was in the military, so I figured it was just one of those things, right? One of those things that West Point is sending me something because I play football.
And you talk about academics in there, to cut you off real quick before you go into that.
Mm-hmm.
But you talked about academics. I know for a fact that if Army was recruiting you, your GPA was not suffering.
No, it was I was who's who of America. I was in National Honor Society.
Yes. That makes sense.
I wasn't all those things.
That makes sense.
Journalism.
At
I wasn't
West
all those
Point,
things.
that you popped up on their radar.
Yep.
That's a lot of.
And though, so what made me believe that I could be a D1 athlete was when I got that postcard from Pitt, and then things twitched in my mind, in my head.
Because at the time, Pitt was Big East, right?
In the Big East, yes.
Big East.
As a matter of fact, they were going into the Big East. It was just going into it in 1991. I think they were just going into the Big East.
Okay.
Which is really weird. It was like it was Pitt, Miami. Those are the two big teams.
Pitt,
I can
Miami.
remember. Yeah, Boston
College.
Syracuse,
Virginia Tech.
West Virginia, Virginia Tech. At that point, Virginia Tech eventually left. But yeah, that was pretty big.
Oh, Big East was big time.
Yeah, it was pretty big. We did play Notre Dame every other year, and we did play Penn State every other year. But Penn State was in the Big Ten. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were the Big Ten. So
That's Happy Valley.
yes.
You got to play in there.
I got to play there. Yes.
Was that as amazing as it
Yes.
looks? Did they have a whiteout whenever you guys played against them, or no?
Yes.
So they did.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so that must have
Big
been
rivalry
intense.
game.
Yeah.
Big rivalry game. So yeah, 100%.
So that's fun.
Yeah. So with that being said, I do want to break down some things that I believe
Okay.
through being a rec park coach and just seeing the talent of these kids coming up and just seeing different things happening, especially in the Ponchatoula area. I believe that can get you recruited as a college, not D1,
Yeah, just
a
to play
college
after high school.
athlete. And this is for kids nowadays. What I gave you was something that is the template for a kid in the 90s and early 2000s. Now,
It's totally
a
different.
little different. So
totally
with that
different.
being said, here are a few things I believe will help you become a college player. As becoming a D1 player to a major school is going to be tough due to the transfer portal.
It is.
Coaches at that level are utilizing the portal before picking up high school kids, especially those who aren't ranked or not ranked high enough.
Or slightly undersized.
Oh, yeah.
Have a relative going through that right now.
Oh, you do, don't you? That's
I
right.
do. Yes.
And the kid is a pretty tremendous basketball player.
He is.
What do you average, like 24 a game?
He averaged like 30 points his senior year.
30 points a game.
Yeah, it's like 3-time district MVP.
Mm-hmm.
And but he's not 6'3".
Transfer portal kids have been there, practiced or played and understand the game, and are physically in a better place than incoming freshmen. And what I mean by that is their nutrition level is at the right place. They've been in the weight room for at least a year, so they understand
They've been
what
in the
to
classroom
expect.
on a campus.
And on a campus in the classroom. So they understand. So here's a great example of what I've heard recently. Coach Rick Pitino, head basketball coach for St. John's.
Yep.
He's losing some key players and stated you can't replace them with incoming high school kids. So my answer to that is Cooper Flagg, but of course,
You start
he's
naming,
one in a million.
Yeah, you're naming
he's
the
one in a million.
exception, not
Yeah.
the norm.
He's more than he's really a six
Yeah.
star if they even had that.
Yeah.
But there might be a few of those guys out there, maybe.
Yeah.
So here's my first thing in this day and age, and what I believe or how I believe you can become a higher ranked football, basketball, whatever it may be, camps. You got to go to school camps if you can afford to do so. So if LSU or Southeastern or UTEP, University of Texas El Paso, or Pitt puts on camps, those coaches are there and putting you through their drills. It's a time to shine.
Interesting, right? Because these camps and these showcases, I have a 9-year-old, okay? And just to let you know where delusions get created, but opportunities as well, type thing. So we play travel baseball, okay? We talked about that. There's a ton of different organizations out there, right? There's some local organizations. There's some national brands as well. USSSA, 2D. Perfect Game. Perfect Game is the largest known baseball tournament organization.
Okay.
Okay.
Didn't know that.
So Perfect Game. Perfect Game does rankings. They do all sorts of things throughout the nation. Okay. It's definitely geared towards high school kids because that's where it matters. We played in a Perfect Game tournament for 9-year-olds a couple weeks back. We got an email. We played in Mississippi. Okay, we played in Mississippi. It was an open tournament. Played against some really good teams from all over the Gulf South. All right, the boys played well, and we get an email last week after that tournament that Luke has been invited to Houston for a Perfect Game showcase. Whatever, come out there, skills, will evaluate, and everything as far as that stuff goes. He's 9. He's not that good. We played 3 games, all right? But they send this stuff out there, I think, for one main reason, money.
Yes.
Because it's like, I don't know, a few $100 to go out there to bring my 9-year-old to go do this. Now, saying, will we never do it? No. If it was close by, or we happen to find ourselves in Houston, maybe. Why? For him to have the experience, not for the delusions that I think he actually should be there. But the fact that you're talking about these camps and all, these opportunities now, like, it is there. And in fact, man, there's almost some very mean reels and TikToks of kids that show up to these Perfect Game showcases because anybody can. I mean, I say anybody. It's not an impossible ticket to get invited to one of these showcases.
Right.
And they're making fun posts of kids who can't hit the ball out the infield, shortstops who airmail everything, catchers who have 0 pop time getting the ball down to second base. And there's just a lot of them just kind of making fun of some of these kids that show up to these things. And it's just to put yourself in that situation and make yourself vulnerable to try for that, you have to have some type of self-awareness. And as a parent, putting your kid in those situations and bringing them to these camps, I think you definitely have to have some type of self-awareness because there's so many of them out there nowadays that are such money grabs. 2D is another one that does it as well. If you play in enough of these tournaments and you go to these weak fields and you are a decent player, you will get an invite to go play on one of their showcase teams. And it doesn't mean that you're even equal or talent. It's just, it's mind blowing. I know this is something different, but I'm just letting you know that, like, it starts that young. AAU basketball, I'm sure it has the same exact stuff too.
Oh, yeah. So along that vein, you've got to be careful, right? You've got to be careful because even the football players, middle school kids, freshmen, they're getting those kind of invites too. But it's not from a school.
Right.
It's not from a school. Now, LSU puts on a summer camp every summer.
Yeah.
But from ages here all the way up.
Yeah, that's
a fun.
That's a fundraiser.
A fun camp.
Yeah.
Right. But if you have Middle Tennessee State or Nichols saying, "Look, we're putting on a camp at this time. All the juniors from this area are coming."
Yeah.
Something you might want to consider.
Totally different type situation.
Something you might want to consider.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the thing I'm talking about, that aspect. But along that same vein, when you have these different organizations reaching out to you, they don't care who comes.
No.
They just want that $500 pop.
Yeah.
Right? Because if they get 20 kids at $500,
yeah, no, it's a nice day.
It doesn't matter what I mean, they're gonna put guys out there that sort of know what they're doing and sort of know what they're talking about and telling you, hey, we're gonna do catchers, catch, release, catch, release. Let's see what you got.
Yeah.
Right. They're gonna do all those things. They're gonna feel like, oh, this is exciting. Right.
And it is. I mean,
because you have somebody that you've never met before. You got other kids out there that you've never met before, and you're gonna showcase in front of these people. Right?
Yeah.
Look at the videos you're talking about.
No, it's interesting, and it happens all across. And recruiting, talking about different sports, and as far as the recruiting in these camps. So, in the United States, or soccer, you play based on your birth year. So if you and I are born in the same year, and my birthday is in January, and your birthday is in December, we would be in separate grades. On a soccer field, we're the same age. So if we were both born in 1982, but you were born in January, I was born in December, even though we're 12 months apart almost.
But I'm older.
But we would be playing in the same age group. So it's not based on your school year. right? To where a lot of sports, where like baseball, the calendar year is you can't turn the next age until May 1st. All right.
It all depends, like what sport it is.
For baseball, right?
Yeah,
So that's how it is, like for baseball in this area.
Yeah.
So you're with your age group. Now after May 1st, you can turn the next age, but you can't turn it before May 1st, right? That's the way they do baseball. What they're talking about with soccer is going back to that format. So soccer used to use that format of almost a school year type thing, but now it uses the birth year, which I think is what it does internationally. And to me, it makes the most sense.
What makes the most sense?
To do the birth year. Because I think it's the easiest. And this is why I think it makes the most sense, because some kids are going to get messed over when it comes to soccer, because this is already happening. That date that's going to hit.
The specific date, like a
yeah.
May 1st.
So kids in high school. So, all right. So to backtrack a little bit, soccer, much like basketball, you're not as recruited in high school as much as you are recruited through your club team or your AAU team. Because in basketball, the AAU team matters a lot of where you're playing at. You know, I'm not saying you're not going to get recruited in high school, but if you play in a weak high school district or there's not a lot of eyes in there, you're going to get eyes on you at an AAU clinic or an AAU tournament, and then they're going to come watch you play your high school games. You know, but it does matter. Soccer, same thing. You could be stuck in a soccer district or a school that doesn't really care about soccer, but your club team is the one that's where the college coaches go. They go to watch these club teams play all over the United States in their different tournaments. Well, if they get off the birth year and your birthday turns to a later point, then you won't be eligible to play your club soccer for your senior year in high school. And so kids will miss out on opportunities to be seen for their summer league or their spring season, because soccer season will be over, and then they won't get to play for their club team because they'll be aged out. You follow what I'm saying?
Because of the birth year.
Because it won't be birth year if they change it. They're talking about changing it. Yeah, they're talking about changing it.
Gotcha.
And going back to like a school year type thing.
Oh, wow.
And so some kids may miss out on the opportunity to play on their club team. Say if you got held back a year.
Because when soccer's played at the school level? Because the club could be later.
Yeah, the club is going to play throughout the entire year.
Yeah.
But then that birth cutoff date happens, and now you're no longer eligible to play for your club team.
That's tough, yeah. That's tough.
So, but they have realized this. The reason why they're thinking about going back to it is because participation in soccer, and because I've asked, because I'm curious, participation in soccer has gone down in the United States. Even though people think that the sport is growing and it's more popular, yes, it is, but participation from a younger group has gone down. And I asked someone who knows a lot about it. I said, well, why did it go down? I'm like, I thought soccer was like at a more popular state than what it's ever been. They're like, no, it is from a consumer standpoint. But from a kid participation, it has dipped a little bit. Biggest reason why? Can't play with my friends. Because of the birth year. Because my son was born in 2016, and he has friends, a lot of his classmates that play soccer happen to be born in 2015. Now, they were born at the end of 2015.
Oh, so if it was up to the date, they could probably play together.
If it was based on a school calendar type thing, they'd be able to play together. But because they're not, he plays with 2016 kids, they play with 2015 kids, and they're both in the same class in school. And so a lot of kids have said they don't want to play because they can't play with all their friends.
Wow.
Yeah, so I found that interesting. But
That's
so
tough.
the United States is right now, I think they've actually done it in certain areas along like the Atlantic Coast area. They've gone back to the like school year type thing, and not the birth year.
So that's something to do in Europe. Is that a European thing?
I think it's a soccer across the globe thing where they do it on birth year.
Oh, wow.
And so they adapted that here. That's my understanding. They adapted it here, and then now they're talking about going back to it the other way.
They need to go the other way because soccer is still not as popular here as it is around the world.
I know, but I think that they were trying to just make things uniform with European clubs, because so many European clubs, like, so for instance, the organization that my son plays in, STISA, which stands for South Tangia Youth Soccer Association, so we call it STISA. Well, they have a European affiliate, FC Bayern Munich, right? Or FC Munich Bayern, whatever it is, right? So the team out of Munich, Germany, that's what the kids have on the back of their jersey. That's their affiliate, and they have that throughout the United States. Different clubs have different, different organizations have a different European that they are linked up with, European soccer team that they're linked up with. So Bayern Munich will actually come here and put on clinics from people within their organization for members of STISA and kids around the area. And some of these kids may get, I mean, it has to happen in other places, may not happen here directly, but they will get pulled to go to Europe to play.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
So here's the thing. Here's the thing with that. I think, especially for us Americans, work it that way that it used to be, right? The birth date,
Right.
until you get to a certain age. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I
Right?
don't know
I
either.
don't know.
I don't know what the solution would be.
Because
But
now that you mentioned that, I got a buddy of mine who I grew up with, Bigger. That's his nickname. He don't like being called Bigger anymore. His name is Ernest, who has a son. He's got several sons, but he's got a son playing pro ball in North Carolina, pro soccer.
okay.
But he went the club way out of Texas, right? So out of Texas, he got recruited because of the club that he played
Yes.
for. He played for that club, and I think he went to a soccer school in one of the Carolinas.
Yeah, that's
And
that's
now
the,
he's a
that's the
pro
area.
kid. I'm trying to get his jersey, but his jersey's like $150.
So,
But I'm trying to get his jersey so I can represent. But now that you mentioned that, that's pretty awesome. And it was because of clubs, not because of high school.
not because of high
but
school.
because of clubs.
Yeah.
I think a lot of other sports that are not as popular, volleyball, club sports.
Club.
I know a bunch of kids, I didn't know about this, in Louisiana, because I know in California, club volleyball is huge.
yeah, it's just starting to grow
Huge,
legs here.
But it's here now.
In fact, some of girls' soccer is starting to take a dip because of volleyball.
Yes. And sometimes softball. Because they're all sort of played around the same time. All three
Well, now it
sports.
seems like everything's played all year round. And as you said earlier to start the show,
Yeah.
play as many sports as you can
As
on
many.
a varsity level, but that also extends down to a youth level because if you don't play it as a youth, you're not going to get to play it as a varsity level either.
And I think you're doing a great job by baseball, basketball, soccer, right?
And he runs and he works out.
think
He
you're
does
doing a
does
great
cross
job,
country. I mean, he still runs 5Ks with us as
Yeah.
a family and
Yeah, you're doing a great job.
wants to do a CrossFit competition this summer. So we'll see about that. Me and Ray are going to do one together. We're going to partner up.
Yep. So along with the camps, when the coaches are out there, it's how quickly you can pick up a drill and get to a higher tempo of completing the drills. That will impress them. If you're a skill player, non-lineman,
Okay.
find a 7-on-7 team and make sure that team travels and that they eventually play in either Florida or Texas.
Makes sense.
All right, got to play in Florida or Texas. Coaches look at the top-ranked players. There are several media outlets that will give 3, 4, or 5 stars to kids.
What do you think about the star recruiting? Personal stand. Were you a rated player or no?
No,
No, you
I was
weren't?
not.
Yeah.
I was not a rated player.
'cause
And, but during my time, I don't think they really had the 3, 4, 5 star. They didn't have that. They had something else.
It gets to
We
be
did have the
where
magazine that was out at the time. I forget what the magazine is called.
Streets and is it Streets and Smith or Smith something
Very
like
close,
that, right?
Very close.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
it's
remember
still
it.
around. Yes.
Yeah.
I used to grab that magazine.
Oh man, that was must read.
My name.
Well, I've probably read your name whenever I was a kid. In
Oh,
there.
you didn't know it was me.
So of course
no
I did.
idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
No
Big
idea.
Ray.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, no, we knew who that was. That was Roscoe's son out there causing hell in Texas.
The second thing I have is the difference between now and the 90s and early 2000s, social media.
Damn.
Right? Social media. So there is YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, etc. So there's no excuse to find drills that you can do on your own to improve speed, agility, quickness, and strength. So many coaches out there that can work with you one-on-one to help you improve. So you can play video games, you can veg out in front of the TV, but you still need to find time for 1, your homework,
Right.
and 2, physical improvement work. Because it doesn't just happen at practice.
Question about social media. All right. I'm not sure if I'd be curious. I'd like to talk to a collegiate coach about this. I have one. I might have to ask him about it that I know. You mentioned between all the social media outlets to find drills to do. But as we know, social media has become a way to self-promote. Have you encountered kids that live through putting their own highlights on social media and they're living a delusional life?
Highlights?
Yeah, like you know what I mean?
There's kids that do put highlights up
You know,
there.
there's also I mean, of every age group. where, I mean, there's so many people that put their kids out there
Let me.
for,
Yeah, now that you mentioned that, I remember seeing, so with the whole transfer portal thing, and this kid at the end of football season, you have LSU guys that are putting out letters talking about, I've enjoyed my time at LSU and I will be back next year, right? Or I've enjoyed my time next year, but I'm going to enter the transfer portal and I'm taking my talent to.
yeah.
I saw a 6-year-old in Florida, okay, whose parents put him up to, they had the highlight film. The kid was fantastic. But he had a little memo all typed up talking about, I'm going to take my talents to Florida A&M travel AAU team down in South Miami.
Were they being, you think they were being serious?
Very serious.
Because I don't put it past them. So we had
very serious.
We had a funny moment with our little travel team where one of the parents did that and posted it, sent it to the group. But the
jest, right?
Yes. And it was perfect because the kid's personality was gold. In fact, we talked about this kid. This is the kid who was playing catcher for us at a 7U, caught a bat to the mouth, blood pouring out of his mouth, and no big deal.
That kid.
Yeah, that kid. He was like, he had the hats. Yeah, they just did it
Press
as
letter out there, right?
Yeah, well, they recorded him, and he had the hat sitting on the table, and he grabbed the hat and he put it on his head, and he said, this is where I'm going. So,
but it
was fun. No, it was fun.
That's fun.
But the problem is that they can do that, and we can all laugh knowing that there are people who are serious about it too.
Serious.
And you're saying that.
And I'm telling you, that kid was,
you know what?
Parents were serious.
And if you're talking about Florida travel baseball,
this was football.
It was football.
Yeah.
Okay, because football, 6-year-old football.
6-year-old tackle football.
Oh yeah,
Look, the pads barely fit these kids.
They don't. That's yeah.
Which
is, that's hilarious.
Very much so.
So
very much.
I'm sure he's a well-grounded kid. Probably does well in school also.
The third thing I had is stay focused on your schoolwork. It is tough nowadays to pick up an incoming freshman who has a D+ and can barely get a good ACT or SAT score. It is tough for them to decide to give that kid a scholarship worth $100,000.
It is.
These full-ride scholarships include tuition, books, room and board, and meals.
You know what else? You know what they don't include, though? They don't include a guarantee.
Yeah. What do you mean?
It's only a 1-year scholarship.
No. When you get a scholarship, it's a 4-year deal.
They can take it from you.
They can't just take it from you. You commit as long as you hit certain aspects. They can't take it from you. Now, with this NIL era, it's a different story, right? Because the coach will go, you need to go to the portal. Now, you can't take the scholarship from you. You can try to stay, but you're not going to be wanted. So why would you want to stay in that kind of situation?
Yeah.
So in that way, they sort of bully you out of your scholarship. Can they take it from you? Only if you become a menace, your grades aren't where they need to be.
Or if you're a declined performance on the field.
Yeah, bad performance on the field too. I mean, they could use that, but if you have tape, which they have also, if you have the tape to say otherwise. But of course,
I don't think schools are trying. They're not trying to get rid of kids.
Well, look,
unless that kid
unless your name is Deion Sanders and you just got to Colorado.
Well,
hit the portal.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, I don't hate it, right?
No, not at all.
I mean, it's fair, not fair. The team was terrible. So
yeah.
I mean, it's not like he came into a situation where they were winning football games.
Right.
So if you hire a guy to come in there to win football, he was hired to win football games, not graduate players.
Unfortunately.
I mean,
that's part of his job.
That's part of every coach's job. You don't win, you're out. You know, so
well, you win, and you got to graduate kids, though. You got to graduate. Yeah.
Do you really, though?
You do.
I don't know.
You do. Maybe not Deion now.
They didn't bring me here to play school. They didn't bring me here to play school.
Yeah.
That's a quote.
Yeah. He brought a lot of money in.
Yes.
Okay. So, I mean, if you think about it based off of that, so who will they look at? An incoming freshman with a D or a kid in the portal from a JUCO or smaller college with a D, but has also been in the system? Who are they going to look at? Stay focused on schoolwork.
Yeah. I mean, that's seems like a no-brainer, but obviously it's a thing because players nowadays still find ways to not get eligible academically. My college
Amazing to me.
roommate played basketball, and he said you have to really try to not be academically eligible because of the study hall requirements, the tutors that are available that they had for them. And this was at a small school. This is at Nicholls State University.
You ever see that show on Netflix?
You have to narrow it down a little bit.
It's It was talking about one of the JUCOs out in Mississippi that won a few championships.
A football one, right?
It's a football one.
Yes.
Don't know the name off the top of my head, but they showed you what they went through. They're, almost like a day in their life, and part of what they had to do was go to a study hall, and she would be there and like take and roll and try to help these guys.
Yes.
But you're right. But these guys are like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be here.
Yeah, I mean,
just
there
don't get it.
definitely involves some want to, but like he said, there is. I mean, that's what he told me. He was like, man, he said the guys who can't make the grade, he's like, they put you in every situation possible to make a good grade. You can get extended time on your test. You can all of these things to try to help you to stay academically eligible without giving you the answers because you still have to study, you have to practice, you have to do all these things. They're still expecting you, like you're an adult. and that's what he says. That's how many guys, even just good enough to play at that level, were still handed things all through high school.
Look, if you go to a school that enjoys the sport that you're going to get a scholarship at, football school, baseball school, basketball school, contrary to beliefs, there are rarely teachers out there trying to get you. All of those professors are there to support you. Now, they won't give you the answers.
No.
I'm not saying that, but just based off of what you said, they'll give you a little extra time. But do you need to come back next week? I mean, it doesn't always happen.
No, but they also understand
But
the
they-
workload that you have as a collegiate athlete compared to the person who is enrolled, to not. Now, I'm not saying that people don't have jobs and people that work a 40-hour job and still go to school. I mean, it would be on that person to go to approach a professor about possibly scheduling something. But there are things that are put in place for those student athletes already to where, if it was me, on the other hand, who was not a student athlete and I needed some help with something, well, it's on me to go and approach to ask. I don't think I would be more than willing to think that they would probably have found some avenue to help me out to be sensitive to the situation that I was facing if I presented myself with a good case.
Right.
And I think that would go for any student.
So I have a perfect example. I totally missed a test. It was a midterm because it was before I had to go home. I missed a midterm.
That's a pretty big one to miss.
Huge. I showed up, I want to say 20 minutes late. 20 minutes late after the class. So if the class started at 10, I showed up at 11:20. Okay? I showed up at 11:20. For some reason, I thought it started at 11 o'clock. For some reason. I don't know why. I was going to be 20 minutes late.
Yeah.
Get in, walked in,
Everybody's going.
gone. Because, people take tests after they're done. Doop, gone.
Yeah, you're out. Yeah.
Nobody stays there, makes it the whole hour. Nobody does. So I ran to the professor's office. He was just leaving. I begged and pleaded. And he said, well, when you get back, we'll work something out. And I didn't throw the football thing at him at all.
No. This was,
I just begged and pleaded.
I'm about to
and
go
worked something
back home to Texas, and my parents are going to own me if I don't.
Yeah.
If I fail a midterm.
So which takes me to my next point. Point number 4 is be humble, attentive, and well-spoken. Confidence can become arrogance, so don't do it. Don't be an arrogant guy.
There's a fine line between humble, that's genuine, and saying the things that you think people want you to say. You understand what I mean? LeBron James is a guy who I don't know has ever had a truly original thought. Almost everything that comes out of his mouth as he's gotten older has been something that I think he thinks he's supposed to say.
Oh, I think you're right. Yeah.
He was a guy I pulled for so much, I enjoyed so much, and as he's gotten older, it just seems like he wants to be profound in everything he says. Or even the fake bubble championship that they won during COVID. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
Okay. Everything he does is so scripted because he thinks it's supposed to be what he's supposed to do. They won the game in the bubble fake championship, and he took off his shoes and he went and he sat down in the middle of the court and just stared around. Like, this is the moment that they're going to take this picture and it's going to be an iconic photo of me doing this. You know, like trying to recreate the MJ with his head on the trophy moment.
Oh, okay.
You know what I
okay.
mean? Like
see what you're
that
saying.
kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
and it probably has to do with the fact that he seems like an absolute great human being. No one has lived up to expectations more than him, I think, ever, from an athletic standpoint. I don't think anyone has. I mean, this guy was anointed at such a young age as supposed to be the next one, and he has done it. That's unheard of. And he's done it by being a good person. It's just, I think he never got to fully mature with his own thoughts. He was forced to be an adult at such a young age that I don't know if he ever really found himself. I mean, even I had to stop following him on Instagram because he just got annoying with like his Taco Tuesday thing. Like it didn't seem genuine. Like he's not a silly guy. He's not a funny guy. But it was like he was trying to be.
You ever see his show on HBO?
The barbershop?
Yeah.
I couldn't. I cringe watched it a little bit.
Me too. I couldn't
It was
watch
cringy.
I couldn't watch it.
Yeah. I was like
it didn't look
secondhand
like-
embarrassment.
Yeah. So when you saying all this about him, and I'm thinking about that show, I'm like, yeah, because I could not watch it. It just didn't feel like that. That shouldn't be coming out of him.
You know who else has a little bit of that? You know, it's almost sacrilegious to say it in the state of Louisiana. Drew Brees.
How so?
He's got a little bit of that. Man, Drew's hurt on the sideline, taking like phantom snaps, licking his fingers, pretending when he's hurt on the sideline. Drew did some stuff that was just like, oh man, like don't do it. Russell Wilson has that same thing in him too.
No. What the Drew thing? Okay, the Drew thing. That's just we can't understand that. That's next level thought processes. I'm telling you, that's next level processes.
A little look at me.
Yeah.
Why?
You know, I think it's just next level thought process.
No, I think this is whenever he's not in uniform.
That's what I'm talking about. So he's visualizing. He's visualizing.
It doesn't mean lick
He
your
hears the
fingers and
play.
pretend to put your hands on the center.
That again is a system that he goes through.
No,
it's a system that he goes through. Yeah.
I don't know. I can't.
That's
buy
how much
it.
I
Dude,
like Drew.
I
That's
do
how much-
too. No, I love him.
And you know the Saints is not my team, but I love me some Drew Brees.
Well,
Drew
you know,
Brees is. I don't understand why he's not considered one of the top 5 quarterbacks all time. I don't know why he's not considered that.
I don't know. I'm okay. The top 5. I don't know.
Top
you know
5.
what? Maybe I know this. Next year, we're gonna probably be planning a trip to go to Canton, Ohio, because that dude's gonna have his gold jacket.
Oh yeah.
And so that's all that matters. He brought a Super Bowl to New Orleans. He's going in the Hall of Fame. My son knows who he is and never really got to see him play. And that's okay.
And
But
he came out of that situation where the shoulder thing, right?
But he did he would do some things where I'm just like, dude, stop.
Just
Like,
question, like you just
well, no,
threw
just
you
like
off, huh?
secondhand embarrassment because I'm like, don't let other people make fun of my quarterback, and you're doing things that they're gonna make fun of.
I think it was really next level thought processes and just the way he goes through things
Sure, we'll go with that.
and just like muscle memory, right? Muscle memory.
I guess.
That's the way I'm gonna take it.
You know what? I'm gonna convince myself that's what. At least I don't have to watch him do it on the sidelines anymore.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
But no, Drew's he's goated in Louisiana forever.
Oh yeah. Attentive is being able to read the room, right? Understand what is being asked, and if you don't understand completely, don't be afraid to seek to understand. Lastly, be well spoken, articulate, and enunciate what you ask and answer. The last one sort of puts the cherry on top of everything. Is it necessary? Probably not. If you are hitting hard on the other categories I talked about above, but this could be that little push that gets that recruiter that is looking at 4 different tight ends that are similar in skill set, but happen to be a tad bit more articulate in your answers, and you enunciated your responses, and he remembered that. So then he picks you.
Body language.
Just because of that.
Eye
Right?
contact.
Eye contact, body language, the way you speak to him. Keep eye contact while you're talking to him. A firm handshake, right? All of those things is more, subjective versus an objective thing. But I think to a human being, if you're that person versus, oh yeah, bruh. Oh yeah, I get it done, bruh. Versus, yes, sir, I fight and I work hard every day, and that's what I'll bring to this organization. Yeah, bruh. I'm gonna bring it. I'm gonna bring it 100%, 110%. Fire. I mean, who are you thinking about bringing on when they're both the same skill level? The NIL era continues to grow. I'm not saying stay focused on one sport, but enjoy them all. However, you need to put more focus into being more athletic if playing college ball is one of your goals. Good luck out there, and Parfait, I'm talking to you, buddy.
What's up, man?
I believe you are on the right track and at the right age. Just be careful of burnout. And I think you're doing a fabulous job of that because of his other hobbies. And to our dad disciples, if you have any questions or comments, please blow up our comment section.
You know what? As far as dad rule goes, listening to everything that you've said, it's advice for me to raise my son, not like I've said before, because I think he has any possibility of becoming a D1 athlete, but because he does play sports and he does go to school and you did those things, the dad rule would be just be willing to take the advice from someone who has done it, just on the outside chance that your kid does mature into the person that could play at a higher level.
Yeah.
So just be open to advice from those who have done it.
Yep. And the thing with that advice, just take it all in and just wear what you think will fit.
Yeah. You have to just apply things that fit their personality and remove certain things that don't. Or if you see a personality hole, right? Shouldn't we do that just in general in the day-to-day life? You become friends with people who actually kind of plug your personality holes. That's why you want to hang out with them. So no different than whenever you get that advice for your kid of just trying to, you know what, that's something that he doesn't do. Let's try to plug that hole, make him a more well-rounded human being just in general. Mm-hmm. And if sports is his thing, then it'll translate there as well.
Yep.
So, but yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
So Ray, advice. I think we did it. This was good. It was I love talking sports. We go bunch of different areas, but Ray played, I didn't, and whenever he thought about what we had talked about way back on episode 1, and came back with some thoughts, this was good to hear.
Yeah, I hope I presented it in a way that was pretty clear and concise. I know I jumbled through part of the explanation on know your job, especially on the defensive part, but I was trying to get you into a mindset of how that person at a high school level had to process information.
At 16, 17 years old.
Yeah, at 16, 17, how they had to process
and the expectations that we put on them.
Yes.
At even younger ages.
Yes. And that was in the 90s, so just think about what's going on.
Where there's more information.
Yeah.
So, yeah, food for thought there. So, but nonetheless, thank you guys for joining us on another episode. Remember to check out the products that we have. Partnered up with Thirdsy and Dubby. Get some energy, get some recovery through Thirdsy as well. And make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, notifications as well. Drop us a comment below, especially if you have any questions for our D1 blood sitting across from me right here. But we hope to see everybody on the next episode. But thank you for joining us on
New Dad Order.